This is Carole from the United States, who takes LDN for Hailey Hailey Disease. Thank you for joining me, Carole.
Thank you for having me.
Could you tell me when you first started to notice there was something wrong with your skin?
Right, it was 24 years ago this month. And I had impetigo before, but wasn't sure exactly what this was. I went to the doctor and they didn't know really either. So I went to University of California, San Diego, and they did a biopsy. It was on my left arm. And they came back with a determination of Hailey Hailey.
Okay. What treatment were you given at that time?
Boy, I honestly cannot tell you the treatment. I know it was an antibiotic because I've had so many over the years. To try to remember back that far would be almost, impossible.
I mean, antibiotic is fine, but did they give you any lotion or anything?
Like I said, I can't remember that far back.
Okay.
I apologize.
No problem. So, did you have other outbreaks as time went on?
Oh, my stars, yes. I got this in January of 1990. By 1997 in May, the exacerbations were so bad that I had to quit work, quit my music ministry, quit life, and basically became homebound. Where I've basically been since. So,
when you were saying about your skin and the outbreaks, where do you have the outbreak?
Well, I have them on my legs, all the way up my legs, down my legs, the back and the front. They really go into the very backs of my knees where it rips like Velcro every time you take a step. It has been in my vagina. It has been in my mouth, which I know is more pemphigus vulgaris, but it has been in my mouth, on my stomach, on the tops of my legs, under my armpits, all around my back. 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, I was in the hospital, and they've been around my eyes before, but this time they got almost in my eyes, and I had shingles on top of it. So I had both of them in my eyes. And so I was in the hospital for that. And then I came home on 14 different 14 tablets a day of antibiotics plus topical.
So do you end up with thrush with all those antibiotics?
I haven't yet, but I'm waiting.
Right.
I just finished the Sulfamox and starting back on the doxycycline again today. That's what my doctor's concerned about, but I have this terrible smell because of the infection. I can go staph, strep, gram rods, MRSA terribly. But I've been MRSA-free for 2.5 years.
Right.
And
how did you hear about LDN?
It was just a miracle. I happened to go on a forum, the Hailey Hailey forum on Facebook, and somebody mentioned LDN, and never heard of it, of course. And so I joined the LDN forum, and I went to my doctor. I was just about at the worst stage. This last year has probably been the worst year of my life as far as Hailey Hailey's goes. When I show you pictures, you'll understand. I couldn't walk. I couldn't move. But it started last November. But then in March is when I found out I started I started LDN, excuse me. I took the information that I was given to my doctor, went in for an appointment, and she did not even speak to me during the appointment. She and a resident, and I go to a doctor that's at a teaching facility, and another visiting doctor and my nurse were all in there looking and reading about LDN because they had never heard of it either. So they she started me off at 6, but it was just too much, and I was having no real help with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went back, and what we finalized on is I variate between 3 and 4.5 every day. I go back and forth,
mm-hmm.
and that seems to have helped. And if you could see what LDN has done for me, it is nothing short of a miracle.
Well, maybe we can put the pictures on with this interview so that the people listening can see.
Please.
So how would you
will never believe it.
How would you describe the difference?
Night and day.
Really?
I couldn't walk. Mm-hmm. Since last November, I left my house probably about 25 times the whole year, and 22 times were to go to the doctor or the hospital.
Oh, good.
And, I mean, my legs, when you see the pictures, you will understand where all the exacerbations were. And now I only have a blister on the top of my leg. I have them on both sides. I had them in my eyes. I had them in my neck. And I had them under my arms recently. So the difference, I mean, they're still horribly painful, but I can deal with anything. I'm on no pain medicine now. When they would give me more morphine than they gave anybody else in the hospital for the subhuman pain with Hailey Hailey. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you know about that.
Yes.
And in the hospital, I was so drugged and out of it every time I would go because the pain was so exacerbated and the oozing and the stench. And I'm just very, very, I owe everything to LDN. And I'm not exaggerating or fabricating. I mean, I tell everybody, all of my doctors, when, like I said, it's a teaching hospital, and I use that time in there to tell all the residents that come and see me about LDN. Mm-hmm. All of my doctors, I make them write it down and tell them to go look. Because I feel like I could be the spokesperson for LDN.
Oh, exactly.
Because it has literally allowed me to actually put on some clothes for a day and not exacerbate out to where I would be down for a week. I have worn clothes now since Christmas 4 times, which is unheard of for me. I don't do it. And I went to doctor's appointments 2 days in a row, which I could have never done before. Mm-hmm. Because you know about the oozing. Yeah. With Hailey Hailey, and every time I put on clothes, I'm constantly ripping the clothes away from my blisters. I'm the worst case my doctor has ever, has seen. And when you see the pictures, you'll understand.
Well, I'm wondering, Carole, because you've not been on LDN for a year yet. I've got MS, but I was improving for 18 months, and I'm just wondering how amazing it would be if it cleared it up. So, okay, you might get some odd outbreaks now and then, but it would be nice to think that it was going to clear up further than it is now.
Wouldn't it? I believe that's going to happen. I'm known for positivity, and I just totally believe that that's going to happen. I mean, the amazing difference now is just unbelievable. So I feel so blessed. I really do. And
are you finding the improvements are still occurring? I mean, are things fading and changing all the time? I know stress is a very bad factor for people who've got autoimmune conditions.
Right. I don't really have stress. It's just my husband and I, and we have a wonderful marriage. So there's no real stress in my life. Okay. I am homebound. I'm a real social person, so I'd give anything to be out and, being with friends and stuff. But I am very, very blessed to have an amazing husband and to have somebody that has gone through this with me for 24 years and never complained and always been there to help. Like I said, I'm the luckiest girl in the world. So the stress part is not here. Mm-hmm. It's just I have not had the remission that some people have talked about.
Right.
you know. But
it must be a very aggressive form that you have then.
I'm sure it isn't. I think it's a very aggressive, form. Yeah, let my doctors who have done a bunch of research, have done research on it. It was very interesting because when I came to the medical office, to the dermatology office that I'm going to now, one of the doctors, his sister had Hailey Hailey, and his father had Hailey Hailey. So I've always thought that they would skip it, that it skips a generation. But this was very interesting to me to see that it was back-to-back generations, that had it. So he, but his sister, nobody could understand me because they didn't. I had gotten on the Hailey Hailey, I guess, website and had tried to explain some things that people couldn't understand because they didn't have it to the degree that I did. And I've put on so much weight because of all the prednisone, but that's been I think the worst thing besides the pain. But
what I would like to do, Carole, is sort of next year this time do a follow-up interview with you. That would be very interesting.
Please, I'd love it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for sharing your experience with us.
I appreciate you asking. Thank you.